Step into the most intimate refuge of your life and discover it has been transformed into a sterile testing chamber designed for your undoing. You believed you were taking part in something sacred, but the narcissist was running a ruthless experiment in emotional extraction. Today, we are pulling back the thick velvet drapes to reveal 8 distorted behaviors these predators secretly hunger for, not out of real desire, but from a compulsive urge to possess your essence. This is the forbidden truth most people are afraid to drag into daylight. Why do you feel so deeply hollow after an experience that was supposed to feel loving? Because you were never cherished. You were drained by someone with no inner pulse of their own. Have you ever felt that eerie sense that you are being watched by a stranger? Even while wrapped in your partner's arms, the narcissist does not meet your gaze to connect with your soul. They study your face like a hunter assessing prey, looking for the exact second your defenses soften so they can pour their darkness into the opening. The heavy question we are answering today is what really happens behind closed doors that leaves you feeling erased. Stay with me because we are about to uncover the blueprint of their sexual warfare and explain why your empathy is the weapon they try to turn against your sanity. Imagine someone who isn't interested in your money or belongings, but in your emotional energy and sense of self. That is how a narcissist often approaches intimacy. They may present it as love, while quietly using the experience to undermine your confidence and self-worth. They depend on your natural desire for closeness. But once intimacy begins, something subtle shifts. Emotionally, they disconnect. They remain physically present yet detached, watching rather than connecting. You may find yourself pouring out warmth and care to someone who feels strangely empty and unresponsive, leaving you drained instead of fulfilled. Instead of mutual affection, the experience feels one-sided and hollow. Many survivors describe an uncomfortable emotional drop afterward, as if warmth is suddenly replaced with distance. One moment there is affection. The next there is distraction. Checking a phone, turning away, going cold. This change is not random. It shows a lack of genuine engagement. Once the narcissist feels they have taken what they wanted, your presence may feel inconvenient to them. You remind them of the emotional depth they cannot reach inside themselves. Narcissists are often drawn to empathic partners because of their emotional openness. But once that moment passes, they may detach quickly, showing little concern for the impact on you. This emotional withdrawal often happens in the very space where safety and connection should exist most. This is a record of a soul robbery. And the first warped behavior they crave is performance. The narcissist is not really there with you. They are watching themselves through an internal mirror. The bedroom becomes a stage where they play the lead role, and you are just a prop meant to applaud. They need to believe they are the most exceptional lover you've ever known. Not for your joy, but to feed their ego. If you fail to provide the standing ovation they feel entitled to, punishment follows in the form of icy withdrawal or explosive anger. You are not seen as a partner. You are treated as a captive audience, forced to validate an empty illusion. Their pleasure comes from your admiration, not from real connection. The second twisted behavior is intentional withholding, a tactic of sexual deprivation used to keep you trapped in anxious attachment. By offering intimacy and then cruelly pulling it back, the narcissist turns you into a lab animal pressing a lever for reward. They want your desperation. They want you doubting your desirability and value. This has nothing to do with normal differences in desire levels. Withholding trains your nervous system to crave their approval, locking you into the trauma bond, endlessly waiting for scraps of the affection that once ensnared you. And then the cycle repeats. Third on the list of distorted cravings is triangulation. The narcissist secretly longs for a third presence in the intimate space. Whether through a screen, stories of former lovers, or open comparisons, They want you stuck in a rivalry you can never win. By bringing in another energy, they destroy safety and intimacy. They feed on the tension of your jealousy and insecurity. It makes them feel powerful to have multiple people competing for their attention. They siphon the charged energy of your pain to inflate their grandiose self-image. The fourth behavior is objectification. The moment they strip you of your humanity and reduce you to a biological tool, they crave degrading a high vibration empath, a deeply caring person, because it gives them a false sense of dominance over the goodness you embody. They may pressure you into acts that violate your spirit just to see if you will abandon your own values for them. If they succeed, your autonomy is erased. In their eyes, you stop being a person and become an extension of their dysfunction, a canvas for their decay. They want to watch the healer sink into the filth of the narcissist's emptiness. Do not turn away now, because we are about to expose the fifth and sixth behaviors narcissists use to anchor their darkness into your mind. You will see why they are addicted to dissolving boundaries and why fake vulnerability is their most dangerous tactic. This insight will help you permanently seal the doorway to your energy. You are not needy for craving real connection. You are human, but you have been offering gold to someone who only recognizes lead. We will show you how to find the leak and reclaim your body as restricted airspace for predators. The haze is lifting and the truth will sting. This part is your refuge of awareness. Know this. The shame you feel afterward is not yours. It belongs to the thief. The narcissist dumped their internal shame into you during the act, leaving you carrying the weight while they walked away untouched. Today, we send that poison back to its source. As we move into the psychological breakdown, remember your empathy is a superpower, but every power needs protection. We are building those defenses now until the ghost beside you can no longer touch you. To truly grasp why narcissists crave these acts, you must descend into the hollow basement of their psyche. A narcissist is someone whose inner core died early in life, leaving them unable to generate warmth or self-worth. They are like sirens of biology, luring empathic souls onto the rocks to steal their cargo. When they hunger for these acts, they are seeking an energy exchange, your charged spirit for their lifeless one. This is why your exhaustion afterward feels so deep. You have been drained by a starving apparition. Symbolically, the narcissist is a shadow trying to swallow a sun. They are addicted to the feeling they get from being close to a high vibration, high mind person, because it makes them feel alive for a few moments. But with no inner container to hold that energy, it fades instantly. This is why boredom or hostility sets in so fast after the act. They are like an addict who has just had a fix and is already desperate for the next. They don't truly want you. They want the borrowed energy that lets them pretend they have a soul for one more night. They act like parasites feeding on your light. Their fifth secret craving is boundary erosion, a strategic attack on your self-respect. Slowly and deliberately, they will push past limits you have clearly stated, often hiding the violation in jokes or fake affection. They want to see your no bend, then fracture and disappear into a hesitant maybe, and eventually into a reluctant yes. Each time you give in, the narcissist feels a rush of false power. They have proved to themselves that your limits are flexible and that their desires outrank your will. This is the psychological occupation of the empath. By breaking down your boundaries in intimacy, they make it easy to break down your identity everywhere else. The sixth distorted behavior they crave is fabricated vulnerability. They may stage a sudden emotional breakdown or share a carefully timed story of past trauma right before or during intimacy. This is the ultimate snare. They know your empathic nature cannot ignore pain. They manufacture a fake bond to lower your defenses. It is a cinematic illusion designed to convince you that you are the only one who truly sees them. But it is a setup. The moment you reveal yourself, They store that information as ammunition for future destruction. Your compassion becomes a crowbar they use to pry open your soul for one more extraction. Imagine a radio that can only rebroadcast signals it steals back, because it has no original frequency of its own. The narcissist lacks an inner signal, so they copy your passion and language to create a false connection. This is intermittent reinforcement at the chemical level. Your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and the narcissist exploits it to build a trauma bond that looks like destiny. But the bond exists only on your side. On theirs, it is a cold transactional agreement of exploitation. They charge you for the attention they give, and the price is your mental balance. In every encounter, they trade their lead for your gold. Their seventh craving is ritualized degradation. They hunger for the feeling of dragging a high-worth person into low self-perception. They may use subtle insults hidden as advice or sexual language that feels cruel instead of playful. They want to see the brightness fade from your eyes. They want you to absorb their belief that you're unworthy or tainted. By shrinking you, they briefly escape the crushing weight of their own self-hatred. They unload their inner decay into your clarity, draining your dignity to patch the cracks in their shattered ego. It is a cycle of psychic contamination that leaves you weighed down. The eighth and most disturbing act is the post-intimacy discard. The instant they vanish emotionally while your body still carries warmth. They crave the dominance of proving you are nothing to them once they feel satisfied. This is their final statement of control. They want to watch you reach for a connection they have already cut. Each time they push you off a psychological cliff, they feed on the contrast between closeness and aftermath. Because it reassures them they control the story, while you are just a passenger in their darkness. Return to the core truth once more. The narcissist uses you as a reflective surface to admire a godlike image of themselves. During intim, AC, your gaze of devotion, is the supply they crave most. But the moment the act ends, the mirror has no more use. They turn it away with a chill that feels like death. This is why your emotions are thrown aside so quickly. You have completed your function, and now you are treated as extra debris in their chamber of shadows. Mutuality is impossible for someone obsessed with worshiping their own reflection. Now listen. The narcissist is like a frequency parasite that scrambles your internal signal. They train you to experience pleasure only through their validation, which they ration like a weapon. By switching between access and denial, they reduce you to begging for your own affection. This biological grooming is the most terrifying part of the sexual Cold War. They are reprogramming your brain to crave the predator. Even when they are gone, your body aches for the dose only they once supplied. They grab hold of your biology to guarantee psychological collapse. They design the layout of your inner prison. This breakdown shows the sickness of the role you have been pushed into. You are facing a malfunctioning machine that imitates humanity to harvest energy. The bond you felt was real, but only for you. The narcissist was running a script to extract your light. Then, as the turning point approaches, we witness what happens when the empath wakes up mid-program. The plot twists when the host stops feeding the system. Power begins to shift the instant you see the theft clearly. The predator feels it. The moment of awakening comes when you understand that the silence after intimacy is not peace, it is indifference. For years, you justified their coldness until clarity snaps into place. You look beside you and realize no one is home. You see the vacancy where a soul should be. This is the psychological reversal. You stop reaching. You start watching. In a single quiet breath, after the balance flips, you no longer respond to the void. You stop trying to fill emptiness. The empath becomes a witness to the predator's hollowness. Watch the panic rise when intimacy no longer leads to your obedience. They feel the energetic pullback instantly. Your body is still there, but your essence has stepped out. You no longer plead. You no longer ache when they turn away. This lack of reaction shatters their ego. They are suffocating without the oxygen of your turmoil. The remote control to your nervous system is gone. The hunter freezes in front of a statue. They are losing the only thing that ever fueled them, your attention. Okay, here is where inner sovereignty takes over. You realize your body is sovereign land that has been occupied for too long by an invader. Truth lights a cold, steady fire inside you. You reclaim the sanctuary. The next time they seek entry, they meet a frequency. They cannot read. You are neutral. You are sharp. You are unreachable. Manipulation bounces off your indifference. You reverse the discard. You become the unavailable one. Now the predator starves, confused by prey that has already left. Their grooming tactics start to fail badly. They try love bombing to restart the cycle, but you see the wiring. They shame you for being distant, and you accept it calmly. Yes, I am cold. And this full acceptance is their undoing. Gaslighting collapses when truth is spoken in simple, clear words. They scramble to rebuild your dependency, but the power source is gone. You vibrate at a frequency of freedom that poisons the predator. In your stillness, they short circuit. They begin to resent intimacy because it no longer controls you. If it does not produce submission, it is useless to them. They may withhold it as a final punishment, but you have outgrown the trap. You welcome the space. You lean into the silence. The S reversal breaks the trauma bond. They rage at emptiness, trying to call in chaos where peace now lives. They are obsolete. You are sovereign. The machine has broken, and the captive is walking toward the exit. The predator is left alone with the echo of their own deception, grabbing for one last desperate hoover through fake crises or staged collapse. They are testing whether your empathy still responds. They want to pull you back into the caretaker role, but you now view the crisis with the calm distance of a coroner. Oh, you're ill. Contact a physician. Oh, you're distressed. Call a therapist. By removing yourself from the healer position, you have quietly ended the relationship. The narcissist is now starving in plain sight. They are exposed as a frightened, dependent child wearing an adult body. The image of the dark ruler dissolves into the smell of desperation. You are no longer the nurse tending their fractured mind. You are free. Notice how the energetic feel of the bedroom changes. It is no longer a war zone. It has become an archive of something that has died. You stand in this space and feel absolutely nothing. This calm indifference is the final verdict. The narcissist senses the emptiness, and it triggers their terror of being erased. They feel wiped out because you are no longer witnessing them. They respond with a harsh discard, but the discard becomes your release. You receive it like a winning ticket. You walk away and never look back. The once great lover is reduced to a small error in your timeline. The light returns. This is a psychological reset. You forgive yourself for being human and wanting to love. You let go of the shame that was injected into you. You see that your body was never dirty. It was simply used by something corrupt. And now that corruption has been removed, you feel a clean internal fire turn on. Healing is happening at the cellular level. The trauma bond melts like fog under sunlight. You recognize the relationship as a dark initiation that forced you to claim your strength. You honor the pain for the power it created. The empath becomes the alchemist, changing the narcissist's lead into sovereign gold. This is full detachment. You now see the narcissist as information, not as the center of your story. They are a symptom of a sick system. You feel a distant, clinical pity for the phantom they have become in your mind. The shift is complete. You live in your own life with a force that unsettles the weak. You are bright. You are grounded. You are home. The power transfer is done. You hold authority now. The narcissist fades into background static in a silent universe. Your soul has been reclaimed and sealed. The predator is gone, and the sanctuary is finally yours. As collapse begins, remember, The narcissist depends on your reflection to feel real. By taking away the mirror, you have erased them from your reality. Panic will follow. They may burn down parts of their own life just to get attention. But you are no longer the rescuer. You watch the fire from higher ground, secure in your sovereignty. We now see the complete inner collapse of the abuser as they realize the empathy exploited is permanently and beautifully free. The 8 twisted acts no longer work. The predator has hit the ground. The ending is ruthless. The implosion of the narcissist's inner world is a display of desperate emptiness. When the empath is fully healed and detached, the narcissist loses their main power source. They are forced to face the horror of their own psyche without a mirror to dress it up. This is narcissistic mortification. A psychic crash exposes their true nature in public. Their behavior grows reckless, lies become sloppy. The mask turns transparent. They choke on the remains of their failures, trying to pull oxygen from a vacuum as pressure crushes their fragile ego. Social consequences arrive quickly and openly as the healed empath moves forward with icy clarity. The smear campaign falls apart. Truth has weight, patterns become obvious, enablers drift away as the decay shows itself. The narcissist is left stranded in the social wasteland they once prepared for you. The irony is perfect. They are now the devalued one. They are called toxic. They are trapped inside a reputation they cannot rewrite. The truth cages the abuser and everyone sees the bars. And now the narcissist's inner panic becomes a constant scream for supply that no longer exists. They search for you in every person they try to use, but no one can reflect the God image you once provided. They hunger for the empathy they threw away. They realize they destroyed the source. This is not love. It is starvation. They resent your happiness without their permission. Every smile you carry cuts into their insecurity. They are trapped in unfinished destruction. The void keeps expanding with no one left to fill it. They are drowning in emptiness. Look at their new supply. It is bleak. They appear older, duller, diminished. The energy they stole from you has faded, and they have no inner engine to replace it. They are condemned to repeat the cycle with weaker and weaker sources until the end. They are trapped in a low-budget rerun of their own life, haunted by the one who escaped and found the light. Your untouchability obsesses them. Their rage turns inward, burning what is left of their humanity. They are a malfunctioning machine running dry, waiting for an ignition that never comes. Now the tone is clear and firm. The narcissist behaves like a parasite that misjudged its host. By reclaiming your body and soul, you have neutralized the predator. They move through the world carrying the dead weight of their ego. They despise you for surviving their sexual warfare. They despise you for being whole in a world they swore would destroy you. Every calm breath you take poisons their illusion. They are collapsing inward toward nothingness. The final discard was yours, and it was final. The trauma bond has been cut permanently. Panic drives obsessive spying on your success. They study your wins, searching for weakness or a way back, and find only strength. This strength breaks their God fantasy. It shows them they were only a brief malfunction in your evolution. They howl from the shadows, throwing out emotional spells your nervous system no longer responds to. They are obsolete. Obsolescence is their final consequence. They wanted immortality. They will be forgotten as an error. You are the future. They are debris. The social discard ends in total isolation. The enablers wake up. Family steps back. The narcissist is left alone with the echo of the one they failed to destroy. This solitude is the mirror they feared the most. In the silence, they hear their own lies bounce back at them. They fixate on you because you were the only thing that ever felt real. But you are now a memory beyond their reach. They reach for air where you once existed. They are nothing more than a hollow vibration in an empty room. The collapse is finished. This brutally honest look makes one thing clear. The narcissist failed because they misjudged the strength of the human spirit. They believed they could starve the empath's morality. Instead, they created a season of dormancy where strength multiplied. Once you wake up and offer forgiveness to yourself, you become unreachable to manipulation. The narcissist is a shadow that cannot survive in the presence of embodied truth. They are breaking apart. What looked like acting out was your incubation, and you have come out renewed. You turned trauma into life force. The narcissist is static. You are the song. You observe their unraveling with a sense of sacred balance. There is no hunger for revenge, only alignment. You see that the world is safe because you control your own biological energy. Their rage fades into distant static that no longer spikes your adrenaline. You are healing faster than they ever could. You are living at depths they will never reach. This collapse closes the final chapter of the sexual story. The abuser is gone and the sanctuary is still. The ending is harsh, true, and final. You have reclaimed the temple from those who defiled it. As the final truth lands, you look at the wreckage of the abuser and realize you are the truth itself. The deviance was only a test of your spirit. You found the key, you opened the door, you stepped into the world, and your spirit welcomed you home. The final truth is cinematic, empowering, and bright. The collapse is complete. The sunrise is spiritual. You are free to create a reality where predators exist only as distant shadows. You survived the extraction. You protected the light. You are sovereign. We have reached the final truth. The closing scene where the hooks of the past melt under the heat of your presence. This is the truth. Your acting out was never your nature. It was the shadow cast by the predator across your soul. Today, the sun has risen, and that shadow has nowhere left to stay. You now understand you are the ruler of your own inner world. You do not need permission to be clean, whole, or sacred. You are sovereign. The deviance was the last winter before a lasting spring. You outlive the parasite-like behavior, and your inner world is blooming with truth. Emotional closure arrives with the certainty that the narcissist could never own your spirit unless you signed the contract. Act of shame. Today, you rip that contract apart and burn what is left. You close the case file on the predator. You see now that every demand they made was a confession of their emptiness. You are moving forward. You are evolving. You no longer look for healing from predators. You heal yourself through your ability to feel, to forgive, and to rise again. The verdict is complete independence. You are the judge, the jury, and the free individual. Healing is a slow, powerful return of your spirit. It is a feeling of light reaching the deepest parts of your being, the rhythm of conscience beating steady, and the picture of a future that is open and clean. You are retraining your biology to expect safety. You are learning that empathy is a sacred strength, not a weakness. You rediscover your soul in stillness. You are building a life so real and full that the memory of the narcissist feels like a low-budget film watched in another lifetime. You steer your own destiny, and the sky is clear. Empowerment is the quiet strength of the empath who refused to stay defined by the predator. You stared into the abyss and came back with fire. You are unshakable. The screams from the shadows are now background noise in the music of your life. You change the frequency. You are tuned to the universe, to the earth's pulse, and to the truth of your worth. You took back your power and are using it to heal the space around you. You are a warrior of light, armored in truth. The final line is being written in the brightness of your new reality. You are part of a global awakening of sovereign empaths reclaiming their place in the world. We are collective strength. We are spiritually unbreakable. The narcissist's obsession with your body was the last gasp of a dying pattern. The era of the predator is closing. The age of authenticity has begun. You are a pioneer of the soul. Your voice is a signal for those still lost in shadow, waiting to remember themselves. You are calling them forward. The age of the host is finished. Picture the final scene. You stand on a mountain at dawn. Wind moves through your spirit, stripping away the last bits of the abuser's darkness. Below, the valley of the narcissistic trap dissolves in the morning light. Above, the sky lights up with colors you can finally see without distortion. You are whole. You are complete. You are indifferent. The narcissist is a name barely remembered, a face you could not pick out in a crowd. You breathe in the clean air of freedom and never turn back toward the cage. The narcissist is now a distant ghost, haunting the ruins of a psyche they tried to destroy but only strengthened. They scream into the wind, begging for dust to become a host again. But dust stays dust. You are flesh and fire moving at the speed of joy. You found your people. You found your calm. You found your soul. The survivor's acting out was the chrysalis of transformation. The credits roll, the theater empties, the light remains. You are the masterpiece. This is the final delivery of truth. The narcissist tried to crush the empath's morality because they were afraid of what would happen if the soul woke up and became sovereign. They wanted you chained on the inside, but the captive rose as a king. You are magnificent. You are unstoppable. You won by leaving the game and taking your power with you. You rose above manipulation. You are truth. You are the path. You are life itself. The deviance was the predator's fog, and you became the sun that burned it away. Reclaim your space. Reclaim your voice. Reclaim your right to exist with dignity and confidence. The sexual predator, the psychological manipulator, and the emotional arsonist hold no authority in the presence of your light. You generate your own frequency now, one of freedom, justice, and radiance. Use it to warm your life. Use it to create beauty from what burned. Use it to love deeply with those who live at your level of truth. You are a source of universal light. The grid is restored. The connection is real at last. Now they pushed you into darkness to break you, but instead revealed that an empath's soul is made from the very light that melts chains of shame. Go forward and live with the intensity that always belonged to you. The performance is finished. The mask is broken. You are finally and forever free.